Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome, one and all. It is Roll for Mischief time. You are hanging with your favorite nerds. And we're going to be continuing on what has been a very exciting episode, being dungeon mastered by Carrie. This one's episode 16, titled Supernova. A lot of gnarly stuff happening here. But before we get rolling on the game, does anyone have any announcements that they would like to make? Other than me, because I've got one.
I want to be totally douchey and sell myself out.
Do it.
But
Do it.
two things. First off is for Bear Sound Studio, my weird podcasting-y thingamajig that I do on the side, to coincide with a certain death it was last week. I am opening up to anyone who follows me on Coffee the abridged Lord of the Rings from 1988. I'm doing a restoration project of the cassette tapes, so that will be available for anyone following me on Coffee. And second of all, just to be a douche again and just kind of sell myself out some more, I released a demo on Bandcamp today for my other side hustle, which is just me making ambient music and random ass crap like that. And that is a demo which is completely free to download or pay what you want, and that's barelymatt.bandcamp.com.
Yeah. All right. Any other announcements?
Uh, you're incredible.
Oh, that's a new one, dude. Oh, that's sweet.
Aw.
That's super sweet.
Yeah, that's all I
Okay.
But
Well,
so you do need to turn up your mic when it's time for you to actually say words.
got. This is how I turn up my mic.
wow. Okay. Okay.
Just put it closer to the face.
For sure. So, I have an announcement, and it is a very sad one. I'm sad to say that I won't be able to be a part of Roll for Mischief uh, very soon. Like, this is essentially my last, like, full session that I'll be doing. I might come back as, like, a little cameo here and then. I definitely want to be a creative consultant for the game. It's up to you guys whether or not you want to pay me, but I will offer my services as a creative
We will-
consultant.
We
So
will pay
yeah,
you in our undying love and
Yeah,
affection,
for
but no actual money.
but yeah, essentially what's going on is that the where I live in Oregon is opening back up for business after all this COVID stuff, and I need to go back to work full time, and they really won't be able to offer me the time to be able to for me to be able to be here, and I'm sad about it, but I'm also hopeful for Egner because as I've was just talking with the others before we started the stream here. This whole thing that he's had going on with Urana has been his main plot arc through pretty much the entire course of the game, all the way back in episode 2. And we're talking about like 2 years ago, like about when this was all going on. Uh, when Drew was the DM for that episode, Egner walked into a potion shop to try and get some healing potions to, get ready for the upcoming adventure. And I failed some kind of roll, like, really badly, and all the good potions were gone. And this potion shop guy sold Egner a bunk, like, potion of spider climb. And that was the beginning of Egner having this crazy, like one might say, abusive relationship with this spider trickery goddess. And it's just been a wild ride ever since. And I know this is very abrupt way of wrapping it all up for him, but we've got something planned that I think will put a pin on the Egner plot arc in a pretty good way. So thank you all so much for supporting the stream. I hope you all continue to support the stream because I know that everyone here is going to keep making a kick-ass story that will surprise, shock, amaze, and entertain you all. Um, yeah, so I don't have much else to say about that. So how about let's roll those intro credits? Ba-boom! All right, here we are. Asa, don't sip your coffee really loud. Don't
I warned you.
do.
I told you it was going to happen.
Ah,
It was like I was a divination cleric and I knew it would happen
it's
next.
the worst timing ever.
Classy.
Ever.
Classy.
So, now is the time for us to transition to group therapy. It's a chance to check in with our characters and see how they're feeling about current events and see how they might proceed in this session. How about somebody other than Agner go first?
I was just remembering Eridu's recall in last session, but I'll go ahead and go. So, forgive me because I don't know how Eridu feels at the moment. So, let me think about it. Yeah. He was kind of a support character for most of last session. I did the bit with getting the paperwork and introducing everyone to. I wrote the names down. Was it Mexier and
Mexier.
Odin? Mexier?
Mexia?
And Towden and all of that thing. And then was caught up in the vision that Shar and Leah were sharing, where he became very tixy. And then Shar did this thing where she just kind of like, put Tix in timeout and then was like, well, you're like, have no real say over Eridu right now. And he became all pretty elf again. So I think coming into this next session is definitely like a shock of like this thing that I have trapped inside of me, the embodiment of essentially sin in my life. It can be controlled by this goddess, and she wants my sister to follow her. And of course, most of the big powers that have come into our lives have been bad or selfish, and Arid is conflicted by that because it's like this could be an actual good for him personally, but at the cost of Leah, her freedom. And then, of course, there was just the confirmation that Senna is pulling the strings, which Eridu was on the back seat for that because Tix was in charge then, but he wasn't in love with, So he is, as of the beginning of this session, will have retreated to his room to check on Soter and sort of like in the quietness wallow in this again Sumerian conflict of emotions, codependent relationship of I could be saved, but at the cost of my sister. But then, like, what does that mean for me? And I probably won't let her do it. Blah 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 blah. So, you know, that's where Eridu's at, and I do think emotionally, this is a moment where Eridu does need to push towards the gauge of selfishness into the idea of, you know, accepting that if Leah's willing to do this thing to help him, maybe he should go ahead and let her. Because there's got to be some kind of character development, right? The relationship's got to move forward somehow. So that's Eridu right now. Maybe he'll cry. Who knows?
I mean, if he doesn't cry, Leah will definitely cry. It's what I'm here to do.
If Leah doesn't cry, then Alex will definitely cry, and if Alex
Right. I mean, but usually when
Lisa will
Alex
cry,
and then Leah and Eridu will be crying because that's how that works.
pretty much.
I guess I'll go then, since I did that. Yeah, Leah has had a small number of like rock bottom days before. But this one has basically shattered all of her notions about herself and the world in ways that nothing else really has. And she has so many questions and can't confront Senna over any of them, and doesn't want to be beholden to Shar because she's also watched Agner struggle with his goddess, and had at some point even promised herself that she would never fall down that path. But at the same time, she's feeling more and more boxed in by her own powers. Like her options are running out, and she doesn't have any ways to fix what's been the terrible things that she's left behind her, unless she takes Shar up on her offer. And this entire thing is absolutely terrifying to her. She really wants to focus on helping Soder because that was what she promised to do. And one of the things that always drives her is a need to atone by putting good into the world in some way or another. It's just a lot of the times her atonement ends up with her putting more bad into the world by using her powers, as she did a couple sessions ago when she kind of panicked and used her powers onto guards. And then, of course, she's now seen proof that even the people that she thought she was helping with Remove Curse, which was like, that was such a moment for her when she learned how to use that power. And it felt like a turning point. It felt like, for once, I can do something where I'm taking the bad stuff away instead of putting it out there. But now she's discovered that even the people that she used that on, well, the one person anyway, Trey, is still under her influence in some way, and in fact is like apparently under like observation from Senna, and she does not trust whatever Senna's doing with that. So it's just, this is rough. This is terrifying, and I don't know what she's going to be doing on this mission that they're trying to do. I don't know which way she's going to fall, if she's just going to keep down that path of, well, I have no other options, I am the monster. And no, I won't use the Batman voice again. Or if she's going to go the opposite way and say, I can't touch anything, I can't do anything, and then she'll just be useless. So we'll see. Yeah.
Word. You want to go, Matthew?
I mean, I can do. I'm not promising there's going to be anything exciting. From Soter's point of view. But but yeah, it's been a weird one, and I think in sort of Soter's drug infused craziness, sort of in my mind, I'm kind of getting that almost high-ish feeling where all of these prominent thoughts kind of bubble up to the surface a little bit. Um, and it is kind of that weird split that he's feeling at the moment between his mission that he started and the unusual kindness that has really been shown to him by this group. Of course, he came in maybe not 100% truthful ways to them, but they've been more of a family sort of group to him than he has had just ever. So there's this kind of split going on, and then realizing that there's still this girl that he's chasing, and where does he lie on this is just kind of what should be at the forefront of his mind. Should it be his mission and then hopefully finding the girl alive, or kind of almost living in the moment and enjoying being on the adventure in the present rather than always stuck in either the future or the past. So yeah, it's a weird one for Soter at the moment, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, how's Agner feeling? Obviously not good. Obviously. So he is in this space where, I mean, selfishly enough, like he just hasn't really been tuned in to current events for various reasons, but the most of them is that he's just been consumed by this feeling of just he's like realizing he's finally realizing like how he's just been manipulated this entire time. And the real breaking point came last session when Agner was visited by Shar, the very seemingly powerful tiefling goddess. And Shar had a way of like making visible to him, first of all, in the dream, he could see and he could interact with Shar. He had this visualization that Shar kind of provided where he could see all of the strands that is like spider's webbing that were just completely encasing him and connecting to all different sorts of things. But he was just metaphorically, symbolically immobilized entirely. And Shar more or less made the point that these strands that are completely trapping him, like that's all of Yrana's influence. Like that's what she's done to him without Agner really cognizantly realizing it. And then the other thing was that Agner decided to ask Shar a question that he had gotten the courage to ask Yrana earlier, and that was, Yrana, were you the one that made me blind? And Yrana had not a very satisfactory answer, just kind of like brushed it off, but in this very cryptic, like, I'm a deity, like, unknowable kind of way. So he decided to ask Shar for whatever good that would do, and Shar confirmed that yes, Yrana did that. It's obvious why Yrana did that, to completely like keep control over Agner. If Yrana, if Yrana could blind Agner, but then simultaneously provide Agner with this power to help him compensate for being blind, that would just totally keep him locked up with her. So he's just realizing all of this, and he's realizing how he's been in this cycle with multiple deities now, where he's just devoted himself to them, and then he's realized how corrupted he had become by devoting himself to these deities. So now that he's at this point where he's just realizing all this, it's bringing back all these bad memories from his last deity, and he's at this point where he's about to have a nervous breakdown. Like, he's going into like hysterics. He's like mumbling to himself under his breath. His hands are shaking. Yeah, it's like he's just about to explode. And his plan is to be in front of Urana at the time that he explodes. So that's how he's feeling. Can't hear you, Carrie.
I think that's everyone.
Oh, there we go.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that's the take it away, Carrie line.
Oh, yeah. Take it
I was waiting for
away, Carrie. Sorry, forgot my line. Sorry.
All right. Yeah. So we pick up tonight. The group have sort of made it to this little sort of safe house place that Eridu managed to sort of secure for them to wait for Sota to sober up, basically, after taking these drugs that they found and just took. Which the group then did realize these drugs are just like widely available, and it seems to just be very commonplace. The safe house is owned by an ASMR man, who seems to be not really going along with the general ASMR opinion in the city, and that being that, you know, the tieflings are like the absolute lowest slaves, and he treats his tieflings that live in his house with him with a little bit more respect and like actual people, apart from in sort of public eye, and around his grandfather, father, I can't remember what I said, who is apparently ill upstairs. So it is sort of, it's been the night time, where the various sort of visions happened, and we are going to pick up on Aigner, I think about to cast a spell.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. So we're in a safe house in the city, right? That's upset. We're in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in the safe house in the city.
Yeah.
He's in a room. What I'm trying to think of is like how much he cares about like making a big stink, because he has to like light these incense blocks to, you know, do the spell essentially. He doesn't care, but he will be mindful enough to open the window and do the spell right next to the window, so there's a little bit of ventilation. You know, it's not like it's gonna smoke up entirely. But Aigner, like I said, seems like he's on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I don't think anyone's really there in his room to see it, but he's just flipping out. He's rummaging through his pack, trying to find his incense blocks, and his hands are just shaking, and he just keeps mumbling to himself, and he keeps like chuckling in this kind of hysteric way, and he's like, all right, this is it. This is just what I gotta do. All right, here we go. And he finds the incense blocks. He doesn't have a sacrifice. The last time that he did divination, he went and killed a rabbit and lit the incense blocks like in the rabbit's guts, essentially. But what he's going to do this time is he'll take out his hand-carved holy symbol of Urana, the one with all like the spider legs and that cool formation, and he'll put that down on the ground in front of him. He'll take his remaining incense blocks that he has left, and he'll light them all and put them on top of... No, he'll do it the other way. Holy symbol, He'll take his knife out, cut his palm, squeeze out blood on top of the holy symbol, and then he'll light the incense blocks, put them down on top of that, drip even more blood on top of the smoking incense, and he'll breathe it in, and he'll mumble to himself, I'm gonna get you. Ugh. Like he's pissed.
As you start to mumble these words, feeling your own anger sort of build up inside you, you start to feel like a pressure in the room, almost as if like cabin pressure. Not that I don't know what that is, but you know, like you can feel it in your head, and not that you can see, but you can sense it. These tendrils of I mean, they're basically spider webs, like thick spider webs, come shooting up out of the wooden floor beneath you and start to lash their way around your arms and your legs. Can you do me a strength save?
A strength saving throw. Alright. Old Blue, if there was ever any time that I needed you, Old Blue. Sorry, let me get my thing up here. Alright, let's do it, Old Blue. Alright, that's pretty good. 13 plus, 21.
So when you started this ritual, were you standing up? Were you sitting on the floor? How?
Oh yeah, he was like kneeling. He was like kneeling on the floor, like all awkwardly hunched over the thing on the floor, doing that sink. Yeah.
Okay. So these webs, essentially, they do manage to latch around your arms and pull you down. You feel like it's not quite pulling you right down to the ground. Like you feel like they're trying to pull you basically so your forehead is against the floor. But you're managing to sort of like just about keep it balanced. But you're definitely not pulling away either. Like this is strong. More comes up, more starts to like attach itself around your waist, around your knees. And you realize that you're starting to be almost cocooned by spider webs. And then you hear her voice say, "You dare summon me now?"
Yes, I dare. Yes. This has got to end.
Now you sense her presence in the room itself. Although you can't see her, you feel like she is stood sort of like in front of the open window. So basically over the incense and everything. And she spits out at you. This will end when I say it ends. And it's not now.
I've had enough of being manipulated by you. I've been a puppet this entire time. You've just been pulling my strings, and I didn't even see that the strings were there because you fucking blinded me, by the way. Yeah, that's right. I know it was you. There's no excuse for that. Look, I'm hysterical, but the point stands that this has got to end. And I'm saying that it's ending.
If you did not have me, you would be nothing. I picked you up out of that lab. I brought you here. I took you where you needed to go. You wouldn't have any of the strength or power that you have now if it wasn't for me. And yet you dare kneel here and question my... Think of the word.
Authorita!
Thank you. My authority. And you feel the webs like constrict on you, and you feel it almost like pushing the breath out of your chest.
Look, I'm ready to be nothing. I realize that your power is real. Obviously, you're a fucking deity. You have power. You can give all this power to people. I mean, and by the way, it's not the first time that I've been imbued with divine power. I've been on this whole fucking merry-go-round once before. But,
A
I'm
laugh
sorry.
just echoes. No, it's alright. As you say that, a laugh echoes through the room. Oh, I know the divine power you've used before, and I know what you've done with it. That's all you are, Aignabosh. You're a murderer. I'm the only thing keeping you from that. I'm the only thing keeping you from killing your friends, from falling back into the hands of a god like that who will push you to round up God knows who and murder them.
This time it'll be Egner who laughs, and it's this kind of like really ugly sounding, like hysterical cackle. You know, like ha 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 ha. That's funny that you can try and paint yourself as if you're any better than Samos. Samos was a fucking genocidal maniac wrapped up in this whole holy light bringing image. When I think about it now, it makes me want to vomit. And that's how I feel thinking about you. I want to vomit. And if I vomit up every ounce of divine power that you've given me, then so fucking be it. I'm ready for anything you do to me. You want to kill me? Do it. You want to keep me blind for the rest of my life? Do it. You want to cripple me so that I can't even walk anymore? Do it. I'm ready to be done with you.
That would be far too easy. You do not deserve death. You do not deserve the easiness that comes with you taking the punishment for this. No. You'll regret this. You'll regret siding with a demon. Why you would choose to take on or even consider using a demon's power over
Well-
this?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Who said anything about me taking on anyone else's power? What about my power?
Your power. You have no power. We've already talked about this. No.
This is just another one of your lies. That's what you do. You feed on my insecurities, my weaknesses. You tell me that I'm nothing without you. But I remember that I was something before you. And I want to go back to
After
that. Fuck off. Look. Whatever you're going to do to me, just do it. But leave everyone else alone. And so help me, you leave Ellie alone. If you go
You-
anywhere near her, I will strangle you. I'll strangle a deity. I'll fucking do it.
You feel now her presence lean in next to your face, and you can feel her breath against your cheek. And she says, "Oh, Agner, Ellie's my first stop."
Okay, at that point, Agner will... Can I try another strength saving throw?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Agner will try to strain against the restraints and try and strangle her right then and there. Old Blue, don't fail me now. Oh, it's not as good. It's not as good. It's only a 19.
Total.
Yeah, totally 19.
Yeah, you managed to sort of loosen them a little bit, to straighten up a little bit more and not be quite so like cowering in front of her. But it's not enough to get your arms free,
Mm-hmm.
and she just laughs at you as you struggle.
So in that case, he'll just growl, like a really just primal, just guttural, just just growl at her.
Um, she essentially growls back. She almost like it almost is like a mocking mimic, but then it turns into like a scream that, because you're like, you do still have like the super sensitive hearing, it's like
Deafening.
basically usually almost like, yeah, like an immediate migraine, like that's how
Mm-hmm.
like loud and piercing this is. And then it ends in a laugh, and she straightens up again and says, "I'll be seeing you again soon, Agner Bosch, but not before I take care of Ellie. Maybe I'll deal with her parents as well, and that little brother of hers."
You have no idea what's coming to you. His voice comes out, just ragged, broken. You have no idea what's coming to you. I don't know if there ever was a god that's been killed by mortals, but I think you're going to make history. You're going to be the first one. How does it feel?
We'll see. And you feel her presence fall away. And with it, you feel your heightened senses leave. You feel a sudden emptiness in the pit of your stomach that tells you you no longer can reach for your cleric spells. You are now sat blind on the floor, with senses like any other normal human, splitting headache from the screaming, and the web's still around you, yet you feel like you could like get out of them now. There's nothing pulling them, they're just still there.
Now I'm just a blind 8th level fighter. No! No!
I mean, you still have your hit points and all that.
Like, way less of them. I mean, if we're really taking away 8 cleric levels right now. Look,
No, you still have 16 character
the
levels. You just
ability.
don't have any cleric levels. That's all.
okay.
You still keep the health, just the abilities and everything.
Okay, alright. Anyway, I will have Agner just let out another scream. Yeah. And that's how he's feeling about that.
Alright. So I'm gonna jump now to Leah briefly. It is sort of the morning time. Are you going about any part of your ritual in the morning or not?
Sorry, my cat
Nope, I'm just leaving.
chose this moment to steal my other cat's food, so sorry about that. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think because she is just so incredibly shaken, returning to something familiar seems more natural for her than to just like not do anything at all. So she'll be clinging to this ritual like her life depends on it, even though she realizes now that it's probably connected to Senna in ways that she didn't really anticipate. But she, like, for her, the ritual has become so much more personal than anything else. I think she's going to do it.
Okay. So, as you're doing your morning ritual, are you doing is it the full extent, the full one, or is it just the counting and naming?
Yeah, she's not adding anything new.
Okay. So as you come to the end of your ritual, you notice that Bo has once again made an appearance in your room, and has been sat like on top of a cabinet, seeming to sort of watch you do this ritual. And as you finish, she flutters over and lands on your arm, where you've been counting, and you feel energy flow into you. You feel like the last time when she passed power into you, so you still have that. Or did I give you like a d6 necrotic damage to spells and stuff? So now, basically, now you get the use of the Hellish Rebuke ability as you feel almost like a little well of something hot and bubbling inside you. Like it's almost like you can physically feel this something hot has been like put inside your chest, and you also feel that your magic, it's like a barrier has suddenly been lifted and you can like extend it out slightly further. You now also get an extra 10 feet range onto every spell, including touch spells. So your touch spells now have a range of 10 foot. Yeah, as you feel this sort of supercharging.
That's dope.
Leah does not know what to make of that. It probably throws her into more confusion and despair because that's just who she is.
And then I'm gonna jump over to Eridu's room where Sota is coming round. The room is dimly lit, early morning light coming through the window. You start to have a slight sort of hangover feeling, but it's just a little bit numb. It's not like anywhere near what Agnes was that time. And you see sitting across the room in a chair, seeming to be sort of waiting for you to wake up. You see Eridu. However, he looks very different to the last time you saw him. He looks like a very handsome elven man. All of the tree bark, any form of ticks seems to now be gone.
Some might even characterize him as pretty. And Eridu has sort of drifted into a trance, just as he's keeping an eye on Soto, making sure that he is, not doing anything that's going to hurt him in his unconsciousness.
Ooh. Okay. Eridu? Is that you?
And, hearing the light voice breaking into his trance, Eridu's eyes kind of focus on Soto. He cocks his head to the side, almost in confusion. Oh, isn't it obvious?
But where am I? What is this? I'm confused.
I'll stand up and move toward him, just cup his face in my hands and feel his forehead, feeling for anything that might seem feverish or generally checking for some kind of hangover-ish confusion, and probably feeling nothing more than the already warmth that comes out of him from being at peace. You're confused. You're coming off of the effects of the drug. And all is fine and well. I'm glad you're with us.
No, this isn't right. This is I think I'm still a little bit high here. And Soder just kind of tries to nip himself a little bit, make sure he's not dreaming. Just kind of like, but what happened to your face? It's different.
Eridu kind of laughs and, well, this is just my face. It's been a while. I'd almost forgotten.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's gonna take some getting used to.
No, it's not.
I'm more of a hardwood kind of guy.
Well, there's still plenty of hardwood.
Oh, got him. Got him.
I mean, we're gonna have our moment, but Agner's scream will cause Eridu to react. So
Oh
we're
yeah, I
gonna
mean
have-
that can happen whenever, really.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I could get through that without laughing. Possibly not. Okay, but where are we? I'm confused. The last thing I remember, we were in an alleyway, and I took drugs.
I've made a contact here in the city, and we are inside of the home of an Azamar who seems to be trying to help those who are enslaved.
Don't trust them. No matter what they say, if we're in an Asimar house, we've got to go.
His servants, who are tiefling, seem to stand up for him quite well, and one of them, though I offered, refused to leave. He said he can't help the others as well outside the city as he could inside. These might be very good allies to have for your organization.
Trust your
should
judgment.
You should meet this man, Townsend, and find out for yourself whether or not you should trust him. But I think he's worth listening to.
I will trust your judgment this time, but I am not going to pass judgment on anything until I can see for myself. I have been burned by people like this before, and I will not be burned again, and I will not let you be burned either. And I think that would be a good cue for the Eigner scream.
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, and at this point, Eridu will perk up and look towards the door. I think Agner's in trouble.
What did I tell you? And yeah, Soder wants to kind of like scramble up, but still kind of that hangover-ish kind of tripping over your own feet kind of way. To Eigner's room.
Yeah, Eridu is probably gonna burst through the door, swords drawn.
They will find a very pathetic scene. I don't know how to describe it, but there will be the smoldering remains of Agner's holy symbol to Urana. There's blood kind of spattered in these random patterns, like all over the holy symbol, all over Agner, around Agner. The incense is still smoking. Agner's holding his sliced hand out in front of him, and at the moment he's like sobbing, like just crying, like he's got snot coming out of his nostrils. He's like, and he's taking like a ripped up like piece of cloth that he got from his pack, and he's like struggling to like tie it around his hand because he tried healing himself. He did try to do that, and then he realized that he couldn't do that anymore. So then he started sobbing, and he's trying to like one-handed do a nice little improvised bandage on his hand, and he looks like a fucking wreck.
How bad is the wound?
I mean, it's like he didn't like completely saw his hand off or anything like that, but it's a large gash pretty much going the whole length of his palm,
Okay. Eridu is going to turn his short sword handle out and just grab Agner's not cut hand and force him to hold the sword and then slice his own palm with it As he does, some of the blood leaches into the blade and heals a little bit of Agner's cut.
What?
Both Eridu and Agner have small palm cuts.
Okay. That's an interesting way to do that.
Yeah, I had to show off my sword's ability somehow.
Yeah. Well, Agner will be mostly confused, and he'll appreciate the little jolt of healing, but he will drop the sword, and he'll just like through his choking sobs say, "What are you doing?"
As I'm sheathing cleaning the blade and sheathing the sword. Actually, I don't have to clean the blade because it sucks up blood. Because ticks. Get down on Agner's level, even though he can't see me. What's going on? Are you all right?
Eridu, I fucking did it, man. I did it. I told Urana to just shove it. You know, I just told her to get out of my life. And I didn't care what happened to me, but she's not taking it out on me, man. She's taking it out on Ellie. She's going to hurt Ellie. She's going to hurt Ellie's family, man.
I'm gonna look at Soter with just giving him an absolutely kind of confused and conflicted look. What do we need to do?
Find Ellie, I guess. I have no idea where she is, and my powers are gone. My spells are gone. I can't help her. I'm fucking powerless. I knew this was gonna happen, but I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready to be powerless.
At that, Soter moves quite swiftly forward, having recently felt what it's like to be severed from magic. So he just comes straight in to Aigner and just kind of kneels down next to him and gives him a good bro hug. And with his limited knowledge of Aigner, Soter kind of remembers that he did stash a little bit of alcohol with the horses, and he just kind of goes, "We've got some strong stuff with the horses. We can do this."
Okay. All right. Let's just go on. I can't do anything about this right now. And at that, Agner will attempt to get up. He'll have trouble walking, just a combination of several things. But he'll get up and he'll try to walk around. He is very enticed by the possibility of a stiff drink to calm his nerves.
You'd still have some of the bottle unless you drank it all the night before on your bed stand.
Oh. Well, maybe he'll take the last little bit there, and just swig it down, and go through a little coughing fit because he drank it too fast and part of it went down his windpipe. But he'll say, "Let's get out of here." And the last thing he'll do is turn toward the incense pile on the burnt, smoldering, holy symbol of Urana, and he'll stomp on it with his boot a good 4 or 5 times to, make sure it's done smoldering.
Where is Leah? Did she come to the stream?
That's a good question. Yeah, I guess she would have. If she heard a scream like that, even wherever she could have been in the house, she would have probably heard it and come running the moment she heard it. So I guess one could say she's been lurking in the door watching everything.
Sure.
That's kind of where I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say the whole sword thingy happened before she got there.
Sure. Yeah, she probably didn't bring her healing staff. I don't know. Depends on how together she is. She could have brought her healing staff with her, but she might not have thought of it.
This is when she has just been like supercharged, so it might be when you're a little bit
Dazed.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's kind of dazedly lurching around.
Okay, so is there anything else that you want to do in this particular scene that we're in?
Not really. Egner's just got a lot to process at the moment, and it's very disorienting for him to just try and get around without his super senses. So he'll be actually maybe leaning on Eridu a lot, and maybe like holding the back of like Eridu's tunic or whatever he's wearing. Yeah, he'll struggle for a while just to like get his bearings and like try and figure out how to get around.
I think, yeah, Leah would offer assistance in any way that she can, but also, I think maybe she would whisper to Soder, like behind them, what does this mean for our mission?
I don't know. If Aigner has no powers, that means our whole pretense of being here is screwed. We're now gonna be, or gonna have to try and be super stealthy.
We're not going to get another chance to get back into this city. We need to get that information.
We do need this information. But now, I really don't know how we're gonna get there. The whole plan was to use Aigner as kind of our front. I don't know.
Do non-Azamar engage in trade of tiefling?
I've seen it. Not as common, but I mean, if you stick around Asimars enough, you turn into assholes. So it's usual for it to rub off.
Perhaps we can continue with our guys with either Leah or I pretending to be the person heading this, or even Agner if he feels up to it, although I think putting too much on his shoulders now is not a good call.
The camera pans over to Egner, who's just opened that fresh bottle that Soder offered to him.
It needs to be quick. It needs to be today. It needs to. And as I'm like saying this, I look over toward the kitchen, where I'm just gonna go ahead and make the assumption, because it's the last place we saw him, that Towden is probably there, making breakfast or something. But anyway, I'm going to notice Towden and then, or if we can trust him.
I'm not comfortable with this. I'm not comfortable with this. I literally told you 30 seconds ago, Asimars are assholes. It's literally in the name.
Ooh, what a Asimar. I love it. Assholemar.
I get it, but we're...
This is a pickle.
So this information is to save your friend. I will let you decide, but time isn't on our side, and our friend is in danger as well.
Well, okay, we've got to do it then. But just, I know that Asimars can have a little mind controlliness over their servants. So, I trust you. But just don't trust him.
And I won't. I'll stay in the shadows, and if he does something wrong, I will end him.
I like that.
While you've been talking, actually before you've even completed your this conversation, probably mid conversation, Leah has left the room, and gone back to her room and her pack, which has the shard of glass that Shar gave her, and she is picking it up and trying to figure out what she needs to do with it. And there is just this wave, this boiling of emotions around her, of just sheer desperation, and then everything else underneath it as well. And she's just staring at the glass, being like, "Shar, I don't know what to do with this."
You hear in the back of your mind, break it. In Char's voice.
That feels very final. That makes her even more afraid, but she just steels herself and grabs it in two hands and breaks it.
As soon as it smashes on the floor, your body drops limp onto the floor next to it. Your mind, however, is taken straight back to the clearing that you've now been to over and over again. And Shar stands in the clearing waiting for you. Leodin?
I've run out of choices. I've run out of options. I have to make a deal with you. I need some things from you. I need promises. Whatever I do in your name, can it be repaired afterwards? I don't want to leave a trail of broken people in my wake forever. Can it be repaired?
Yes.
Can the things that I've already done be repaired?
Yes. He's
Everything.
not picking up.
The cult, the cult of the fathers, all of the people that are generationally connected to me, can they be repaired?
The older magic will be harder, but it's possible.
And Ellie, will she be protected?
Yes. Ellie is one of my top priorities now. I heard Agna and that creature's interaction. I'm already handling it. Do not worry.
Good. Good. And Agner, can he be helped right now? Is there anything we can do for him?
I can give him back a little of the powers for a short while. Until he fully takes me on as his deity, I can't do it permanently. But I can charge him much like I've been charging you.
I need to know two more things. If I die, will all of the things that I've broken repair themselves, or will they stay broken?
They will not die. They will not mend simply because you have died. The magic has already touched these people, and it's in there now. Death does not remove that.
I was afraid of that. And finally, if I make this deal with you, can I have an end date? Is it possible?
An end date?
One where I do whatever you want of me. I will fulfill all of your anything you ask of me in the hopes that someday all of my powers will be taken away from me. And I can live the last, I don't know, maybe a century of my life free of everything. Is it possible?
Providing you make it through what is to come, I will be able to give you some time back to yourself. Yes. I am able to promise that to you, Leodin. I do not wish to hold you out of your own consent. This is a deal I've only ever wanted to go into on your agreement. I will not hold you forever.
Understand. I am taking this out of fear. I am taking this out of desperation. My greatest hope in life is to burn all of this magic out of me forever. But I will do this if it's the only way I can fix what I've broken. And if it's the only way I can live with myself, which I don't think I'll be able to, because on principle, I hate what I have to do. I just don't see any other choice before me. So I will do it.
There will be a cost. Not just the things that I require your help with, but also your current patron will need to be dealt with also. You cannot be under two influences. I can push her out for now, but she will know, she will not be happy about it, and you'll have to face that consequence when the time comes.
I know that there is no way that that could have been avoided. I know it will be incredibly painful.
Very well. Then if we are in agreement,
Yes.
she walks towards you and places two warm hands against your cheek, and your vision goes red with fire, rather than like a bright white light. It's just this like crackling red orange color. At this moment that this happens, although you're unconscious so you don't hear it, Agna, who is with Sota and Eridu, at this point you've just been having that kind of conversation. You're outside the kitchen, you can see Towden in the kitchen. Agna, your entire body is filled with white heat. Like, it feels like you're on fire from the inside. You open your eyes and your eyes are burning fires. And it's painful, so I presume that you scream again.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't have much voice left, but he'll use just about the rest of it. Ah! Yeah.
Eridu and Sota, you can react if you would like.
Igor seems very screamy today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at me and I'm like on fire, you know.
I'm gonna
so
like be letting go and stepping back since I was supporting Agner
for
a
sure.
moment ago. Just
To which
watching.
point, I kind of jump in, because I would assume if you let go of Igner, he'd start to be, bad Jenga tower, kind of collapsing to one side, and tiefling and all, I tend to have a resilience to the fiery nature of fire.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I will help prop you up, Igner.
All right. That's sweet. I will lean on Soter and just keep feeling the burning and just screaming and like thinking in my head like, how can this day get any worse?
So you feel where the sort of emptiness in the pit of your stomach was, that had appeared once after your altercation with Urana. it's filled with this liquid fire. But you also feel like you can draw from that fire, um, thus giving you back access to your cleric spells. You can have all of the ones that you've had. You could do normal clerics or change things how you would. But you can
Cool.
feel it coming from this different source. You also once the like fire dies down in your eyes, you realize that you can kind of see. Kind of. It's not that Agner would understand the reference, but it's like red static. So you can see like shapes and people moving and like the outlines of people. So you can't see color, you can't see too fine a detail, but you can make out the surroundings. You don't have the heightened senses back,
Sure.
but you are now able to essentially see, so you don't have any of the like the disadvantage you might have for being blind. And you feel this sort of strength come back to you again.
All right. So as a show of confidence for the other two, I will let go of Soter and stand on my own 2 feet, and then I will like conspicuously look from Soter's face to Eridu's face to Soter's face to Eridu's face. I don't know what the hell just happened to me, but I can kind of see you. And I think I can do this. And then with that, he'll like rip off his bandage, like the really shitty bandage that he had on his hand, and there's still like a pretty gnarly looking gash right there, even though Eridu had helped him heal it a little bit. He'll hold his palm out, then he'll touch his other palm to it, and then there's probably some kind of like licks of like fiery red energy that creep up his arm, and then he casts a powerful cure wounds spell and then just heals it. I don't know what the hell just happened, but I think I'm gonna be okay.
Neither do I. Are you able to return to the form that you used to have? Can we finish the mission then?
Oh, you're talking about the Azamar, right? Right?
Yes.
With the ridiculous name I came up with on the fly. Yeah, let me think of it. Let me think of it. Let me try. And then Egner will try his hardest to cast Disguise Self, and I imagine he succeeds. He can do it.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
So now he turns into the Azamar. Did I do it? Do I look okay?
You've done it.
That's relief.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not picture perfect, but after what you've been through, like, we're done. We've got it back.
Sure. Okay. Maybe we should do the thing that we're supposed to do before I lose any of this. I have no idea how long this is going to last.
And do you feel Yara's presence? I mean,
Never felt like this, I'll tell you that. It feels like I just drank a gallon of fire whiskey. Ugh.
and I'm assuming Leah still hasn't appeared to inform us. So what's going on?
I think would this be a good time for her to come back? Because after she's done with all of that, the next thing she would do is go back and try to find everyone.
Yes,
Sure.
you come around on the floor. You similarly feel this heat. It's not quite as like painful and out of nowhere as Agnes was, but you feel this heat like burning through your veins as you blink your eyes open. As you lay on the floor. Yeah, you can get up and go and find everyone else.
In her head, she's going to think to Shar, can you shield my emotions from other people?
shall she or shall she not?
Mhm.
There's a pause. Um, she. There's a pause, and then you just get back. Yes.
I don't want to bleed into my friends right now.
I can protect your friends.
Fine. So Leah will get up and like very stoically make her way back to where everyone else was. And sure, she's not leaking emotions out everywhere, but her face is like she can't hide anything on that face. She's terribly out of practice for that. So she looks grim and pale and shocked and determined, but in a sort of a like Batman sort of way. And so she'll walk into where everyone else is and say, "I made the deal.
What?
I think we
What
can
deal?
do this with Shar."
And then Egner's eyes will go wide, and he'll be like, "Oh, oh, is that why? Huh."
I asked her for her help. I hope that was not overstepping my bounds. I thought we needed everything we could get.
I mean, you're not wrong. We 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 need all the help that we can get.
She looks at Eridu and says, "I meant to talk to you about it. I wanted to talk to you before I ever made this decision, but I don't think I had the time. I apologize."
It was never my decision to make, and you may well have saved us all.
And she looks at Soder and says, I know this is what you wanted. I will need your help in navigating this, I think. I don't really know what I'm doing. Frankly, I'm terrified. But I want to help.
Well, so far there's nothing to be terrified about. So, I mean, yeah. Well, welcome to the family, guys.
Egner will take a moment to soak this all in, and he'll hold his forehead in his hands and just mumble something to himself like, "How did I get myself into something like this again? I just did that. I mean, like, how does it happen? Just like right away, right? Okay, look, I mean, the point is that I can do this now," and he gestures to his like Azamarness. I can do this now, and that means I can help. It means that I'm not completely incapacitated, not completely helpless, handicapped, whatever the word that you want to say is. I'm ready to do this thing.
We have the paperwork. We can. It's been filled out. You know, we can pass off Soter as the person we planned on. All things are working out as we had planned them, I suppose. Eridu does seem like just deeply upset, although he's trying to focus on just things being as they should be and moving on.
Leah will put a hand on Egner's arm and say, "You're not locked in. I made this deal for myself. I wouldn't dream of doing it for you. This is yours only if you want it." And also, Shar says that she's going to protect Ellie.
Thank goodness. I was really worried. Urana's gonna go after her. Euron is going to go after Ellie's family, and I I was determined to be the one to go do something about it, but I suppose the best thing to face up against a goddess is another goddess.
There, I don't know how long this will last for you, but so there may be yet another chance for you to go up against Urana. But for now, this is the best hope we have, I think.
Well, I'll have to thank Shar later.
Let's do this.
So, as Agner and Leah make their way out of the room, Eridu will grab Soder's arm a little harsher than maybe he normally would, just to kind of stop him and say, "The way you feel towards Azamar is the way I feel towards anyone who holds contracts. Shar is your goddess. Promise me she won't hurt my sister."
There is no way that I can see Shar hurting anyone. She brought me to you, and she's been nothing but perfect in helping me save others. I can't see any way in which Shar would even dream of hurting any of you. And if she does, then maybe I have to start thinking about things. But that's for me to worry about, not you. We can do this.
Eridu will take a deep breath and, "I trust you." And then, release Soter and like kind of dust off his humble robes and stand up straight and follow Agner and Leah.
Just
Okay.
before that,
What?
if I can jump in for a little bit of so to do here. So as Eridu's just kind of dusting himself off, Soter kind of quickly darts out and grabs his hand, gives it a little squeeze, and then kind of pulls him towards the door where everyone else is leaving.
Okay. So, I would like us to now essentially jump to the next part. So if there's any if you did want a conversation with this guy, we're just gonna the guy at the house. We'll kind of establish what happens off screen and decide what is said. So if it's okay with everyone, I would like to call a break now. I know it's 10 minutes early, but it makes the most sense because the next part is going to be like a bit of a jump. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm cool with it. Aw, kitty.
Absolutely.
Aw, you rascal. That little cat. What a rascal. Okay, yeah, so that being said, we're going to take our break, folks. Thanks for sticking around. I know this has been a kind of crazy one so far, and oh, you just wait. Egner's going to strangle a deity or something, and Soter and Eridu are finally going to kiss right after the break. Come on
Oh,
back.
really? That's a big promise right there. Eridu's gonna strangle a god, and Soter and Agner.
Yeah,
Nope.
you got it
Eridu-
wrong.
Yes, you got it wrong.